Hello everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of my new YouTube channel, Piddling Around Outdoors. For today's video, I'm on my property near Fort Blackmore, Virginia. I have a plant on the property that's in flower right now, and it's blooming throughout the property. I have several populations of it, but it's a pretty unique plant to me, and actually this is the only place I have ever seen this plant, so I thought I would feature it for today's video. The name of the plant is Blackberry Lily, which is somewhat ironic since it is neither a blackberry plant nor a lily. The plant actually is in the iris family, and we'll take a look a little later in the video and show you the leaves, which look very similar to an iris leaf. The plant gets its name because it will produce a cluster of seeds later on that as a composite look very similar to a blackberry fruit. Also, the flowers do look like a miniature lily bloom rather than that of an iris. This plant is a perennial plant, meaning that it comes up every year. It is not a native plant to Virginia, or actually anywhere in the United States, as it originates from Russia or Asia. Therefore, it is either likely that someone has either planted blackberry lily here on the property at some point in time in the past, or it's very possible that maybe a bird consumed the seed somewhere and then has spread that here on the property. I've never seen any sign of deer browsing this species, which I'm not surprised by. Deer do not normally browse normal iris, so I wouldn't expect them to browse blackberry lily since it is in the iris family and has the same type of leaves. So I refer to this plant as unpretentious simply because of the fairly small size of the flowers that it produces. They're literally just about the size of your thumb. So here's the foliage of the blackberry lily. As I indicated previously, looks very similar to the leaves of a bearded iris, which you may have in your garden. Very flattened and broad. So one of the unique characteristics of the blackberry lily is once a flower has been opened and it starts closing, it will actually form these little spiral curlicues, for lack of a better word, which are I think pretty unique to the plant world. I can't imagine that the blackberry lily doesn't attract several different pollinators when it's in flower. One of the primary pollinators that I've noticed whenever I'm taking any kind of photographs or video are just ants. They tend to use the flower quite regularly. The other insect pollinator that I regularly see on the blackberry lily, and probably the most common one, is a sweat bee. So here you have a couple of the seed clusters or fruit clusters that are a little bit more mature. The one on the left is about as large as it will get. In a couple of months that will become fully mature and it will actually burst open, and there will be a cluster of dark black seeds in there that will be very similar and look very similar to a blackberry fruit. I've shot a picture of the mature seeds or fruit last year, and I'm going to put it on the screen for you to take a look at. Once you see that, it's pretty easy to see maybe how this plant got its common name. So at first glance this may look like a blackberry, but it's actually a cluster of seeds on a blackberry lily. So pretty obvious to see where that relationship between its name and the appearance of its seed clusters came from. as a note, if you're interested in adding Blackberry Lily to your garden or landscape, it is available either by seed or by root at many sources that you can find on the internet. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video and potentially learned a little bit about a plant that many of you may not have been familiar with. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.